Howdy all and welcome to Rauta's Non-Metal Sunday. Well, that's not technically fully true because this band is actually somewhat on the verge of being metal and rock. But for the sake of argument, let's just call it progressive metal. For some people it might be way too rock and some people it's outright metal. Now, during the time of this review at least, Metal Archives didn't list this as metal, so I'll use that as my guiding light. But once again, don't be the douchebag starting to make a fuss about it. If it counts as metal in your books, that's just fine. I don't really care. I just am including this one here because this came for a review a little bit a while ago, let's put it this way, and I decided to give it a go. Nevertheless, even though I'm not really a progressive metal fan, or progressive rock even, but there are always some bands that really do the trick, so why the hell not? So this band is from Finland and it features some very talented musicians, at least based on how this album sounds like. It is very heavy, it is very well done, there are some really nice vocals, and everything seems to be what you would expect from a progressive metal band. It's not exactly extreme, at least when you're talking about metal music, but it's definitely, you know, having the elements of being progressive and being metal music for sure. So, to which kind of audience then this is meant to? I would say the people who don't want to really dig deep into metal, who are not about, you know, how distorted your guitar sound is or how grunty or screamy or raspy vocals or growly vocals are, but more about just like, okay, I want to have it like a metal sound, but just, you know, kind of a nice and clean, not too dirty, not too distorted, not growly, not okay, and the list goes on. So basically this is not for people who like their metal music extreme, be it black metal, death metal, thrash metal, well, even doom metal, but more about people who are, you know, expanding their views from, you know, progressive rock to a little bit heavier sound. And that where Wheel just steps in. And in my opinion, they actually do it quite nicely, but I'm definitely not the kind of a target audience to which this kind of music and album is targeted to. What I could really enjoy on the album is, however, how skilled these guys are. I mean, they know how they are supposed to play this kind of a progressive music without going too jazzy, without going way too much, you know, into the progressive ways of creating music. That is, it's not for the sake of complexity or sake of being progressive to sound progressive, if that makes sense. Now, from the listener point of view, however, this is a kind of a tricky thing because it obviously falls down with your taste of music. If you're not into progressive metal or progressive rock, I don't think Resident Human has a lot to offer. It is definitely a kind of a niche product or release that goes to the audience that know already what they're expecting. For people who already have figured out like the genres what they're listening to and enjoying to, well, I kind of doubt that this will change their minds. Unless you're ready to expand, once again, your own taste for music. Now, for me, coming from outside this kind of a genre, I found this album quite likable. At least, given that this is not what I would say voluntarily listen to if it wasn't for review purposes. But, once again, if this is going to win me over, a lot more is needed, especially in the terms of songwriting. The production is quite dry, which means it's not very organic and kind of a inhale-exhale type of thing, what is so often the case with kind of a retro rock or old school metal. I'm talking about the kind of a Black Sabbath thing here, you know, where the sound is not too distorted, but it has kind of a organic feeling to it. Even modern doom metal bands have that kind of a thing. And then again, when we're talking about more, say, heavily produced albums, be it death metal or thrash metal or just plain old heavy metal, this feels quite dry. You know, it's kind of a Tool sound, but not exactly. So it lacks the kind of a big production values, big money, I guess, in terms of studio, even that, even if it kind of manages to sound very heavy. I mean, I really like the heaviness on this sound because it feels like the bass, guitars, drums are like right there, having this boom effect. But what I would really enjoy with this kind of a guitar sound especially was more either the organic way or just more the kind of a, metallic sound, being a little bit more distorted or otherwise. Not that this gonna make a difference. I mean, if you like this kind of stuff, probably the production isn't the problem here. Once again, this is very much for selected audience only, an accurate taste kind of a thing. So if you're into progressive stuff or more experimental metal, which flirts quite a lot rock, maybe even more so than with traditional metal, I would say give Resident Human a chance. I think it's a really fair deal given the genre here and me being nowhere near as an expert. But for those who are just looking their metal a little bit more dangerous, a little bit more metallic, I guess this is a no-go. But obviously decide for yourself. And this album has been out since 26th of March, so very fresh, but already out there with your favorite streaming services. And in case you like the physical one, there is that. Now, go give it a listen, and I hope you enjoy it.